Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Collaborate to Co-Create. Our episode here today is specially about the virtual assistants. And yes, we titled this as the bionic arm. And yes, the bionic arm is supposed to do the same type of task which your own arm does. And here, my wonderful guests today, they help you create that bionic arm. They give you that mobility, the flexibility, and as I was just looking at some stats related to the virtual assistance industry, I have not seen anywhere else where there is a expected growth rate of 16 to 23%. And the market share, we are just going to discuss all of that. And I'm going to ask my experts, what is this? How do you manage? And what does your future look like to you? So, good morning, everybody, and good evening to Jackie, who is in New Zealand. Thank you, Jackie, for being here. I know it's evening for you, and it's wonderful. Thank you, Arpita, for joining us from Dubai, and thank you, Celia, for joining us from Abu Dhabi. And very quickly, as you can see the headings, Jackie is the founder of EverySec, and her baby is the youngest one out here from 2024 that she has established. Arpita has been here for a while, and we're going to ask her since when. Founder and CEO of Easy Assist, and Celia, the founder of Elium. Good morning, ladies. Good evening, Jackie. And hello, marhaba. And if you're watching this from anywhere else later on, welcome to Collaborate to Co-Create. How are you doing today?
Very well. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
It's wonderful. So when we started this whole series of Collaborate to Co-Create, my idea was actually to bring in industry experts in a same panel where you talk all about what is it, why did you take up this, how do you manage a day-to-day life, and what is it that you visualize for the future. So let's start very quickly with you, Arpita. You're the founder and CEO of Easy Assist Consultancy, and you have an HR background, right? So tell me, how did you happen to start this assist, and what part of the HR did you bring in to your business now?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for asking me that. I don't get asked that often enough. So we started in 2021, right in the middle of COVID, where I saw a trend of the work from home culture coming around, and companies and organizations starting to realize that maybe it is not necessary for everybody to be sitting in an office 8 hours a day to be able to contribute. I just had a baby, and I'd been home for a few years. I had not been working, and I was desperate to get back into something that would allow me to use my skills and my experience of the years in HR, but be able to create that balance. I wanted to be a part-time worker myself, and so I created something alongside a dear friend of mine who was in the admin space. Easy Assist came about from those needs that we had with us. The way I bring HR into this is that I don't obviously do any executive assistance, and I don't do any virtual assistance myself. I don't deliver the service, but I contribute by selecting the people that we work with. Our VAs are handpicked by me. I take my time to engage with them. I get to know them at a personal level. It's only when I've received an inquiry that I would place, sort of match the right VA based on what the client's requirements are. And it's not just the skill set that you need to align. For me, a successful worker is somebody who's aligned at various levels. It's a compatible match more than being able to deliver the job.
I will come back to that and everyone's input into that, especially. My next question for Celia. So South Africa, a lot of work with NGO, and I love the word that you use, succession planning, Celia. Tell me a little bit more about your journey into this world as the founder of Allium.
Thanks, Shambhavi. I think for me, as I said, I started a non-profit in South Africa for women and children affected by HIV and AIDS. I think that was also a little bit of a basis of introducing me into the world that I'm currently in terms of wearing so many hats. People used to say, "What is your title?" And I would be like, Tea girl to director and all the bits in between, because you just got on with doing everything. Um, but at some point, you need to hand over, because at some point, either you are stuck in your ways and you're stopping an organization from developing, or you just need different input that is going to drive to the next level. So for me, it was quite a logical thing to put in place the succession planning so that I could step away from the organization, which this year is 25 years old. So I'm very proud of that. I'm still very much involved, but obviously not on a day-to-day operational level. But that then also aligned with my move to the UAE. And then, I went into corporate for a short stint and then started Allium in 2020. Again, in part for freedom, but also to offer a service that was of a high level, because I just felt that was missing a little bit in the region. I hope that answers your question.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And Jackie, I know you are at an event, and I really appreciate the fact that you took the time to come here, crossing time zones, barriers, everything. Thank you so very much for that, Jackie. And I also wish to tell the audience that Jackie was, the minute I approached Jackie, she's like, yes, I'm in and I want to talk about it. So Jackie, thank you for that again. Your work stretches a little beyond what we are doing here right now compared to Celia or Arpita. And your background is also a little bit more into educational and women empowerment, and that is where your journey started. So tell us a little bit about every sec. And I know why Dubai, but tell me, how did Dubai happen to you?
Awesome. Tarafa Lava, Kia ora from New Zealand. Thank you for having me, Dr. Shembiva, and it's so good to be here with these other amazing ladies. Yes, in terms of my background, I've been teaching business education for 20 years, and through that journey, here in New Zealand, ended up in business consultancy, mentoring and advising business owners here in New Zealand. During COVID, I led so many people. I just gave me time to think about what's more of my purpose besides teaching business. And I was really drawn to women entrepreneurs and supporting them specifically, just because there wasn't much here in New Zealand to support the women that I was working with and to advocate for them as well. So yes, so I ended up starting an organization called the Lao Pacific Business Women's Network, which is now 4 years old, and we're about to have a IWD event coming up as well. So how does that all link into EverySec? So myself and my business partner, we deliver a program for the New Zealand government called the Puna Oa Business Growth Program. And through that program, and many years of, I guess, working with business owners, SME business owners, helping them to grow in not just business strategy and education, but also in their mindset. What I realized is so many business owners are trying to do so much by themselves. They're trying to be a bookkeeper, they're trying to be a digital marketer, a social media content creator, and also trying to, staying up late at night answering emails. A lot of them are sacrificing time with their family, especially the parents. And so, just all these, I guess, problems, as they say with an entrepreneur, that's where a business idea starts from, is from seeing a problem. And that's what I saw. And hence we decided to launch EverySec and bring this service to market with that knowledge of the SME market and what they need, what their needs are. So thank
Right.
you.
Right. Thank you so very much for that. And just like, how nurses are very special to doctors, they have their own people out there, and they know which instrument to give, what is the expectation the doctor has. I think pretty much the secretaries who we speak about, and who also have in this region and in everywhere acted as gatekeepers to the person in power or in the seniority. So then now we don't have a person in front. It's just all only virtual. So let me start with Celia. Celia, how do you address this point? And actually, if you could share, all of you, in the journey of the entrepreneur or your customer, how do they start with you? What are they looking? What are their demographics? And I'm asking you about the people who want the service from you. I'm not yet entered the point of who you are providing them. So please, can we
Yeah.
start, Celia? Can we start with you?
Shambhavi, it's a broad range. So for me, there's a big focus on female entrepreneurs, but there is also, for me, an international focus in terms of a number of people that come looking for me are French nationals, German nationals, because I do offer the service in terms of more of a multilingual service. I think, to your point about not having gatekeepers anymore, the world has changed so much in terms of not having physical offices that you're still gatekeeping on email. You're still gatekeeping through technology. You're still gatekeeping through just through not providing the access to the entrepreneur or to the senior business owner through a physical office. Everybody that comes to us is basically saying, I want to take my business to the next level, or I want to take an element of my business to the next level, and I'm looking for somebody to literally be my right-hand person. And when I say take an element of my business, many of my clients actually have support staff working for them, but they literally will approach me to say, we want to take this bit. I want one person who's exclusively focused on me and on this element to grow it, to expand it, to do whatever. And I think the freedom that comes with knowing that you can engage a virtual assistant for a set number of hours, you don't have to have a full-time resource, gives people the freedom. And I think that's what they're looking for. The fact that they know that they don't have to overcommit. If this is a project in its infancy, if this is something that they're starting to drive, but it's like a long-term alongside, I don't have to commit to having somebody work full-time. I can have somebody that I can grow and somebody that can grow with me. That overall is where I find that I'm being positioned, myself and my team.
Right. So, Arpita, I would have actually asked you a question, and I know that Celia speaks 5 languages. So, this question is pretty much for you. And Celia, there was some background noise. Is there any possibility that you could have a headset or something? If you can,
I
otherwise,
do
please,
have.
it's okay. And if you have, okay, then maybe it was from Jackie, because we know that she was in a public place. And by the way, Arpita, before I get on to you, this is Meeta. Thank you. Startup Stories. COVID really changed the game for ceremony. Meeta is also part of our Female Fusion tribe. So thank you, Meeta, for being here and listening to us. And I have somebody here, Brigadier Sushil Basin, happy to hop in here. Thank you, sir. He's one of my mentors, and full respect. So thank you very much, sir, for being here and encouraging us. Coming back to you, Arpita, the customer journey, like she said, Celia said that she has multilingual. What are your experiences, and what is the experience of the entrepreneur or the manager who comes to you? And are they already is there a lot of backlog that you have to face, or your assistants have to face when they join, because there is so much work to catch up on, which they didn't think they would need to do? Tell me a little about that.
I think you have hit the nail on its head.
Yes.
The most amount of people inquiries that we receive are people who are I would say if I was to define the demographic to some degree, although it's like Celia said, it's extremely broad. But if I had to define it, I would say that they are erstwhile professionals who understand the value an assistant can bring, and they understand the amount of mental space and time that they can save from having somebody take over all the administrative work, but have gone into entrepreneurship. So they're erstwhile professionals who have seen assistants, used assistants in their previous professional lives, corporate lives, have now gone into entrepreneurship and are struggling to keep up with the amount of admin load that it brings. So yes, the executive, so the virtual assistants do often get loaded a bunch of messy inboxes and cluttered diaries, but that's the value that we are offering them. That's what we tell them. Our proposition is that we will take away your pain area, and it is just having a resource that's silently working in the background, supporting you in small, minuscule ways, but which compounds to a larger, greater value, especially in terms of time and in terms of just being able to focus and channelize the executives' energies into what they really started the business for.
So, Jackie, thank you for coming back. I know you were having issues. Here we have a comment. Thank you, Sushil sir. Collaboration is the key. Thanks, Shambhavi, for this initiative. And yes, sir, one of these days you have to be here with all your wonderful military background training. And that's where we bond as well, more on that level. So thank you so much, sir. Jackie, I don't know if you've heard this, when we people say about empowerment, it's actually not just you doing something, learning some skill and doing something. When you teach that to others and when they teach that to others further, that is what is actually empowerment. And this is a definition which I heard somewhere from a lady who was speaking in a public forum. So, Jackie, you are doing that. You are empowering other people and they are going further. Tell us a little bit more about why women. Why is it that you have chosen to focus on women? And I know it's Women's Day is coming up and everybody is going to troll me for this. Is this even a question? But please do tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, Kat. First of all, can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, we can hear you clearly.
Yes. Oh, great. Awesome. Okay. So, yes, I guess my drive to support women entrepreneurs is not so much about external barriers, but about internal barriers from, so many years of working with both men and women, and just recognizing the difference in, I guess, the way that women do business. And what have found is uh, women a lot of the time struggle more than men to ask for help, to ask for support in terms of doing their business. Just like we want to be superwomen in the home, running our families, holding down a job, and all the responsibilities we take on as women. I've found that some women find it hard to let go of the control of delegating tasks to others. And so one of the reasons I'm passionate about this space is, making it okay for women to ask for help, but also training, the VAs that I work with on how to work with women entrepreneurs in terms of, understanding what they're going through, not just as business owners, but also all the other responsibilities they have. And what I always remind my VAs is, you know, because of what you do, what you're doing is going to help someone be able to sit down and have dinner with their children, for example, or you're going to help someone to not go to bed at 2 a.m. and have to get up at 6 a.m. to take the kids to school. So these are the, I guess, but understanding again what women's needs are, which I believe, from my perspective of mentoring women, is different to, in a lot of respects, to male entrepreneurs. And maybe that's the culture I come from as well, because I do deal with a lot of people from my culture. But I believe it's also universal in terms of the multiple hats and responsibilities and that we have as women, and especially when we're mothers as well. I
Absolutely,
hope that answers
absolutely.
the
And
question.
yeah, absolutely. And yes, if you see me looking around, I'm searching for my super cape, which I've dropped somewhere. So, yes, we have here another comment from Dr. Sujit Menon. Thank you for being here. Excellent conversation. Collaboration is a key skill for empowerment. Dr. Sujit Menon, you're going to be here one of these days, so just be ready for that. And we have here Brigadier Sushil Basin. Good experience with VAs. Current VAs from Udaipur while I'm in Mumbai. Experience VAs from Kenya and Nigeria. Thank you, sir, for sharing that. And yes, so some of the questions which now I want to ask specifically. One I asked you was about who is your ideal customer. Now let's look at some of these facts again. That I was reading up something and it said that the demographic wise women are more ready to do virtual assistant job. Is that your experience? And why men don't choose to become VAs? Or do you have VAs? I remember somebody who told me she had a man as a VA and it worked very well for her. So tell me something little bit about it. What is your experience like? Let's start with Arpita. What is your experience? Do you have men on board who work as VAs?
No, not even a single one. I've never even been approached by any men to take up a virtual assistance role.
Right.
But I do think that this is an area that falls very naturally into the operational style, the mental organization that a woman has. Just because, like Jackie said, they were all wearing so many hats. We are all wearing so many hats, and no, it's not cultural. It is. It's a world. It's
Well,
across the world that you would see that. That especially women entrepreneurs or working women with families are always overextended.
yes, that
Um,
is. I agree totally with you, but I want to focus here on the virtual assistant, people who are providing their service. Somebody who's
so
ready to
I
come
think
on to
it's
me. Yeah, so men
I
are
feel
not
it's
there.
just,
Celia?
yeah, I haven't experienced any men, but I do know that agencies overseas that are like the larger organizations that have like 100 people sitting in their offices will have men as well, just because they are now employed in full-time jobs from their perspective. But I think just the model works better with women, and I think they are naturally more adept to handling chaos and just taking over and resolving.
So,
Um,
yeah, Celia, go ahead. Yeah.
So I would say that no men, but it also is it's regionally specific. So if you are working here, in terms of if your company base is here, you are naturally going to have women as VAs because more organized, and also the way that work is divided. In the US, there are many male VAs. There's even a gentleman that's written a book about being the leader assistant, and he works for top level executives, very much a UK, US. This region, not at all.
So that is something which is very interesting because, and I want to read this number out, where, as I mentioned at the beginning, 16 to 20, 22% increase CAGR is what we are looking at. And we are expecting the market to go to 23.57 billion by 2033, the virtual assistance market. So that is the. Is there any reason why men should be out of this? And when they can join, and if they are looking, even if it is something which they want to do as a side business, or and for women also, for everyone. I mean, this is an opportunity which you have, which is unexplored. We have these experts sitting here, and you can continue to ask them questions even when the session is over as to what should I do. Now, let me look at now you're the hiring part when you have your own team. What do you look for in every sec? Let's start with every sec, Jackie, because you're the youngest baby out here in Dubai. So what do you look for when you're hiring somebody? What is that journey? Is there a test? Is there a resume thing? What happens? Can you give us a little background into that? So I, as an entrepreneur, can understand if I'm going to be like, having some VA on board, what are the things that I should be looking for? What are the ticks that you have?
Awesome. Thank you. I just wanted to quickly touch on the point about gender because we actually have a male in our team. And
Lovely.
so, yes. So, and so, my VAs at the moment, I am hiring from Manila, from the Philippines. And I must say that I was also surprised that quite a few men did apply for our jobs. And I interviewed, in the interview process, I've interviewed two men, but the guy that's with us now actually came through recommendation. So I think, to Celia's point, I think it also depends maybe on country and region. Um, and the actual VAs themselves, who is actually applying for the roles, and what type of work is happening in that particular country. But in terms of coming back to what do I look for in a VA, I mean, first of all, the most important thing I've learned from the early stages is uh, ability to engage with the clients and build a relationship, and communication skills. So from the initial startup of our business, that was something that we did notice, that even though we had some amazing people come through that had all the skill sets, but we did notice that there are people that might have the skills on paper and even during the interview, but then when it comes to actually interacting with them, and for them being able to translate a task from a client to to their everyday work. So I think that's my lesson I've learned now is communication skills, and even appreciation of different cultures. If you're international business, is key. And I've actually put that to be more important now than the skills can be learned. We can provide training as long as they have the basics, but that's what I believe. And also, our business is built on a concept of alofa, which is a Samoan value of love and care. So we also look for people that really are going to love and care on our clients, and as a way of supporting them, much like in the, like, say, nursing space, for example. I know that's a trait that a lot of nurses have. So
Yes.
anyhow, that's my
Right.
take.
Celia, what about you? What would you say? What do
So
you look for when you're onboarding people onto your team?
So it's also very much about the personality. Is that person going to go the extra mile? Because in the space that we work in, yeah, you're going to have high level strategy to think about, but you're also going to have to book whatever, a doctor's appointment or chase up on something. So it's the mix between menial and high level. But I also do an assessment. And the way that I work with potential VAs, I make them communicate with me on all platforms. We'll start on a WhatsApp. Like, how polite are you on WhatsApp? Do you check your spelling on WhatsApp? When you're sending me an email, do you go, "Hi, Celia," or do you say, "Dear Celia"? Because who are you dealing with? If you're dealing with somebody senior, it's not "hi." And then we do an assessment, and the assessment is basically to see critical thinking, attention to detail. I do a deadline, get it back to me in time. Somebody that, if the deadline is Friday at 5 and they send it to me on Thursday at 4, you're going to get brownie points. And then it's a Zoom interview. It's quite rigorous because at the end of the day, you need to be able to operate on all levels.
Super amazing. It's such pearls of information and that you're sharing, Celia, Jackie, and I'm waiting for the next one from Arpita, because I hope people who are listening to this, or at some point, if they have any aspirations, or if they have someone in their environment who wants to be this and wants to find a job similar, I hope they imbibe these and they understand that how important these are. Arpita, what is your take on when you're onboarding people?
In addition, Shabiji, I'll just, because all of these factors that Jackie and Celia have already mentioned are obviously very, very important. I do share the VA's work experience. So for me, work experience also matters, because I want the clients to be comforted that they come from experience, and have that expectation for the role. But for me, I engage with them over a certain period of time, first with me, and I also sort of do a silent assessment of how they interact with me, just like Celia said. But also, I openly discuss the challenges of being a VA. And I openly discuss, areas like child support and, how many hours a day are they available? What is the time of the day that they enjoy working the most? So I have these discussions with them because it's just them and me, and it's over a period of time. It's not the opening line, of course, but it is something that it's an important factor for them to be able to be successful, and it's an important factor for me to be able to pair them with the right sort of clients. So we've seen excellent executive assistants who have bombed as VAs just because the style of working has not been able to match the VA setup. And then we've seen some people who've come with minimum experience have just given it their all and have organized their life in a way that they're able to contribute to the client when the client needs help. So very silent but quiet factors like that, mark the success. Can take it up that notch. That that service that a person will say, okay, wow, this is amazing, or the service will say, okay, but that's okay. I had her; she was helpful, but there was so much more that we could have done. So that's the difference that you're trying to create, and usually it's a hit, but sometimes it's a miss as well.
Right.
Yeah, if I can just interject, because you said, Shambhavi, we're allowed to have a conversation here.
Yeah,
I think it
absolutely.
hits on such an important point, because you can have the most amazing VA who ticks all of the boxes, is excellent at what she does, but the personality just isn't a fit with the client. And that you can never force. It doesn't take away from the ability and the strength of that VA. And I think that's part of what our job is, to go, oh, Shambhavi's looking for somebody. I've got, Jen, Jane, and June. June's going to be the perfect match. They're all of equal caliber, but from a personality point of view, and then the sky's the limit.
Especially when I'm afflicted by punctuality, as are you, Celia. Jackie,
Just a little.
Jackie, what do you have to say about this particular
Yes,
when you're
I
onboarding?
fully I fully agree with the point made about the personality and making sure there's a match. And I believe that it's an art in itself of intuitively understanding clients and being able to, I guess, match make in a way. Um,
Yes.
and, it's fitting, I believe, that all of us are being women in business and being very intuitive as we are, is, is definitely being able to match, because I have been mismatched. I didn't share in the beginning, but part of my experience of coming into the VA business as well is not having the best experiences myself when I've been searching for a VA, where I've just been matched with someone and there hasn't been much support and training. And as Celia has mentioned, that the person didn't align with me, and the way I work and the way I am, and also my business. So yes, I definitely agree with that point, that it is a bit of a matchmaking exercise, and it's important to have flexibility with, if things are not working between a client and VA, as well as trying to shift things around. Um, to ensure that the client gets the best service possible. And sometimes, like, it may just be personality, not so much skill set. So I
Right.
fully agree.
So actually, core of entrepreneurship is that you are trying to solve a problem which you are facing, and you ladies are just entrepreneurs in your own field. So I'll quickly start with Celia. What is that one thing which you would like your company to be known for?
Excellence of service.
Right. Arpita?
Simple.
Reliability.
Well, Jackie.
I touched on it before. Alofa, love and support and care,
Love it.
as well as balancing that up with a high level of professionalism and productivity. So bringing those two together.
This conversation has been so beautiful. It was supposed to be 25 minutes, 30 minutes, and we are now on to almost 35 minutes from 30. I much appreciate your time, and it's been so wonderful. And I just realized there is so much more to learn and so much more to do. Thank you so very much for being here, and have a lovely day. And we'll say bye now. Anything you want to say last just before we leave?
Thank you, Shambhavi, for the platform, and Jackie and Arpita, thank you for being walking the road together with me, because we're changing the world. Excellence of
Absolutely.
service,
Yes, we
delivery, love
are.
and care. Yeah.
Thank
Arpita.
you. Thank you. Thank you, Shambhavi ji. Thank you for organizing this. Thank you for running this. Your passion, it just lifts the room. The drive
Right.
that you have, and honestly, every time we interact, there is that element I take back with me after having spoken to you.
Right.
But also having been introduced to Celia and to Jackie, and getting experts from different areas doing sort of the similar thing, but in a different way is it's eye opening. Because as entrepreneurs, you tend to be in your silo and you tend to be in your own little world. But it's so important to know what are the best practices. Just to learn what best practices are. And I've learned a few today. Thank you.
Jackie.
I just want to support what the ladies have said. Thank you so much, Jamvi, for what you do and providing this platform. I feel so encouraged to know that there are academics like yourself in UAE that are, not just in the classroom teaching, but out there, sharing so much practical tips with the world. Being a previous academic and educator myself, it's not easy as well stepping into entrepreneurship and doing these things outside of what you all the other amazing work you do. So thank you so much for
Thank,
the platform. Thank you so much to Celia and
thank you.
Arpita
Thank you very
for
much.
all the lessons
Thank you.
shared.
Yeah, thank you. I want to tell the audience that I have not paid these ladies anything to give me all this appreciation in the end. It is just that they
We
are
just
very
love
nice,
you.
kind.
We just
They are
love
nice,
you.
kind people who are here.
No,
And
I something
so,
the audience already knows.
looking at the demand surge, which is going to increase by 35%, which has increased with 35% and in 2024 and going further, there is no reason why you should not look at VAs as a complete industry. Please go ahead, connect with these people, find others, find your wavelength, find your bandwidth, and collaborate to co create. Bye bye. Thank you very much.